All right, so starting in child's pose today, bringing your big toes together, knees apart, and then just melting your hips back, reaching your arms forward, resting your forehead on something. So this first child's pose of the day can often feel really intense, even though we consider this to be more of an easier resting pose. That's not always true. So if you need a little support, blanket underneath. The knees can be really nice. Blanket underneath the forehead. Maybe don't be so active with your arms here. So you could think cactus arms. You might have them by your side. Just play around. See what feels comfortable. You're taking some nice deep inhales through your nose here. And then opening your mouth, sighing the breath out, letting it go. Doing that a few times. So just triggering your brain that you are getting ready for your yoga practice. You're getting ready to check in. Slow down. Start to pay attention to your body, how things are feeling. And as you're ready, you're going to start to find that rhythm of your Ujjayi breath. So inhaling through your nose, exhaling through your nose. You start to create that soft rush of air in the back of your throat. You use the sound of this breath to really help you get quiet, to help you get internal, to help you get focused. Starting out, this can be really challenging. So sometimes counting the breath can be helpful. So inhaling to the count of 6 or 7, and then exhaling to that same number. And we're going to be here another moment, so enjoy it. Let yourself feel really relaxed here. In fact, just notice if there are any places where you're gripping in your body that you don't need to. Soften in those places. Maybe you're feeling a little more stretch in your spine as your hips melt back. And then just finding a nice little twist here in your child's pose. So if your arms are by your side, reach them forward. And then start to walk your arms off to the right, any amount. Doesn't have to be very far starting out. Maybe start to spread your fingers and press here as though you're coming into downward dog. You're going to try to wrap this left side of your waist towards that right thigh. It's getting a little lateral stretch. I'm feeling this kind of in the crease of that right hip, which is nice too. Kind of gentle, not quite as intense as doing a hip opener. And then you start to walk back to center on your inhale, exhale, walking off to the left. So moving in that direction of laying your belly down on that left thigh. You might not be all the way there, that's fine. Arms, hands active. You're wrapping your right ribs towards your left thigh. So getting a little twist, gentle twist, and then just noticing where you're feeling the stretch in your body. And it's going to be a little different for all of us. That has to do with how we're built anatomically, for male, female. It has to do with the day. What did we do yesterday? What did we do this morning? So things are always shifting. Good, and then we walk back to center. Reach your arms way far forward. In fact, lift your head up, peak to see that your arms are shoulders distance apart. And you want to have downward facing dog arms here. So you're reaching so far forward that as you spread your fingers and press, the forearm starts to lift up off the mat and you can feel these upper arms engaging. So the muscle starts to firm to bone. Rock up here. So wrists should be slightly ahead of your shoulders. If they're not, or if you know you need a little more room, walk hands forward. Another inch or two. Curl your toes under. Downward facing dog. Take a moment here. Fidget around. So whatever feels good. Pedaling back and forth between your feet. You can shift your hips to one side and shift them to the other. I always love flipping onto the tops of my feet. Can always tell how tight I am. If I'm tight, I can only do one at a time. That's where I'm at today. When I'm a little more flexible, I can usually do both. It doesn't matter though. All right, so eventually coming to a place of stillness, checking to see that your feet are hips distance apart. Good, pull your belly in. Direct those sit bones up towards the ceiling, even if you have a bend in your knees, and then start to pull yourself forward into your plank pose, nice and slow on your inhale. Exhale, going really slow, using your belly, pulling back. Good, inhaling forward. Exhaling, pulling back. Good, inhaling, shifting forward. Exhaling, taking that full exhale, going as slow as you can. You're like a wave on the ocean here. And then inhale, shift forward. You have the option to come to your knees if you would like. We are going to lower onto our bellies, moving nice and slow, passing through our chaturanga. I would like for you to take a few breaths to get there. And my girls at V Island, try to beat Chris Berry. He's really good at this, but I think that you girls have the sauce. All right, so we're gonna reach our arms forward, lengthen back through all 10 toes, rolling a little bit to the outer edges of the feet. We're gonna move opposite arm and leg. So as you inhale, right arm, left leg, head and chest extend forward and up. Exhale, lower down, nice and slow. Just this simple, gentle vinyasa. Inhale, right arm, left leg. Exhale, lower. Inhaling, right leg, left arm. Exhale, lower. Inhale, left leg, right arm. Exhale, lower. Continue. You have 2 more to each side. I want you to stretch out as long as you can. And we're getting this beautiful asymmetrical stretch. I'm gonna go for a lot of that today, kind of opposites. I've also had a request to get a little stretchy today, so maybe less vinyasa, more stretchy. So I'm gonna incorporate that into this as well. And it wasn't Jody who requested it, so we can't yell at her. Good. So when you finish that, left leg, right arm, go ahead and lower down. As we inhale, we're gonna lift everything up. So you might not get up very high here at all. You might feel like you wanna take your arms out a little wider. That's really nice if you're tighter in the shoulders. It will allow you to feel more of that action of squeezing shoulder blades in towards each other. You're still breathing that inhale through your nose, that exhale through your nose. Good, and then place your feet down, start to bend your elbows, fingertips come underneath your shoulder head. So here we are in our Bhujangasana, low cobra. Exhale, lower. Inhaling up. Exhale, lower. Good, inhale up, hold here. Keep your hands planted where they're at. Make sure you're spreading your fingers. You might have to peek to see that. Sometimes we think we're doing something and we're not. So as you press down into your hands, just pretend that you're gonna drag that mat back towards your heels. You might get a little more extension and lift in your upper body. Beautiful. You stay here, you pull your hands back a little further, wrists underneath your elbows. Inhale. Press into your hands, start to straighten those elbows, and then firm up your legs so your shins, your knees, your thighs are lifting up off the mat. From here, you roll over your toes. So without touching down, if you can, if you are in your low cobra, you press to your tabletop and then curl back, downward facing dog. Nice deep inhale here. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, ha. And we're gonna do a little asymmetrical twist here. So I want you to walk your hands back towards your feet. If you know that you're tight, you're gonna walk super close to your feet. You might even wanna have some blocks. So we're gonna do a little twist or a downward dog. We're gonna take our right hand, so right hand to the outer edge of that left foot. So if you're a little more flexible, the downward dog is a little longer. If you're tighter, you might have your fingertips up on a block. You might have a bend in your knees. We're all wrapping those right ribs to the left. If you're in the downward dog, you can begin to gaze up. So you're kind of looking up underneath that left arm, maybe melting the heels back. Let's get this nice little asymmetrical stretch. Deep inhale here. Exhale, unwind. So root down into your right palm. Bring that left hand to the outer ankle, outer right ankle. This side might feel different, so if you need to come in a little closer, that's fine. And you do want to be close enough so that you feel like you're rooting back into your heels a little bit. It's okay if they're lifted up some. So this is one of those stretches where props are really nice. All right, so unwind here, walk back, actually walk all the way back to your feet. As you inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. So your fingertips might be on the floor. You might have hands on shins or thighs. I'm gonna do this a couple times. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, lengthen. Good, exhale, fold. Press down into your feet, stretch arms out and up. Good, as you exhale, hands come together at your heart. So you're standing in your mountain pose, Tadasana. Peek down, feet are hips distance apart, second toes point forward. You can always stand closer if you feel balanced there. They're both good places to be. Make sure that you're directing your tailbone down, reaching your sternum up. So just channel your inner ballerina here. So you're very tall, very graceful, and we're gonna start to flow. Inhaling, arms reach. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. As you exhale, you fold back in. Inhale, press down into your feet, stretch arms out and up. Maybe press palms as you gaze up, a little back bend. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Couple more. Inhaling, reaching, Ardha Surya Namaskara, half sun salute. Exhale, fold, nice and graceful. Warming up the body and the breath. Inhale, lengthen. Exhaling, folding in. Good, inhale, press down into your feet, stretch arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Let's do two more. Close your eyes here. You're gonna move with your breath, you know these. And if you don't, you can just keep your eyes open, just peek and move with me here. Letting these feel so good. It is pretty nearly impossible to be in a bad mood when you're doing these sun salutes. It can happen, I've been there. But they are like this magic that sweeps the grumpies out of your body. All right, so we're at the back of our mat. We're gonna add on, inhaling, arms reach. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest lengthens forward. Keep looking forward to where you're going. Nice and slow, we're gonna walk forward into our downward facing dog. So you might take a little bend in your knees. You might try to keep your legs and heels pressing back for as long as you can. They're probably gonna lift up at some point. Good, as we inhale, Shift forward into your plank pose, option to come to knees. As we exhale, we lower chaturanga. Inhale into your upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Couple of breaths here. Good, and then let's go ahead and walk our hands back to meet our feet again today to just come out of this round. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, press down into your feet, stretch arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your hearts. Inhale, reach. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, lengthen. Keep looking forward. Walk hands forward, nice and slow. So maybe that is slowly but surely starting to feel a little easier. Neck releases, so you're gazing between your feet. As you inhale, shift forward into your plank pose. Exhale, lower chaturanga. Hover or come all the way down. Just make sure that you hit that chaturanga pose. Inhale, low cobra. Or upward dog. As you exhale, downward facing dog. Couple of breaths here. And then we start to walk our hands back to meet our feet again. So little forward fold here. We're gonna do a nice little asymmetrical stretch again. So again, if you're a little tighter, blocks are really nice. Keep rooting down into your left foot, cross your right ankle over your left and start to fold in. So this goes into that outer left hip. So this is kind of like a nice, intense standing stretch. This is a good one to do post-run, post-bike ride. This is actually a good one to pause and just do at your desk during the workday. It's great for sciatica, great for the lower back, the outer hip. If you'd like to go a little further, you are welcome to. You're gonna start to walk your hands off to the right, so little twist. That's just gonna shift where you're getting the stretch. If you go there and it feels like hell, you just come back on out. Good, we walk back to center. Uncross your right ankle and then take that left ankle over your right ankle. Fold in any amount. You might be really high here. Hands on blocks are fine. Do try to let the back of your neck release down. Observe how this side is feeling different in your body. So I say that a lot in yoga, but really is a great skill to develop, and we start to get really familiar with our spots that are tight. We start to recognize when we're working harder than we need to. Maybe just notice if you're gripping your toes to the mat here too. If you want to take the twist, you start to walk your hands off to the left, which is nice. It almost goes a little further up the spine. You're breathing that inhale through the nose, that exhale through the nose. All these things to think about, these really intense poses, just fly by. You're like, yeah, right. Walk back to center. Uncross that left ankle. All right, as you inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. As you exhale, you fold in. Inhale, press down into your feet, stretch arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Walk to the top of your mat. Couple more of these full sun salutes. Classic. Inhale, arms reach up. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. As you exhale, bend your knees, plant your palms, right foot way back, then left. Stretch out this exhale as you lower through your version of this chaturanga vinyasa, being very distinct about each pose. Inhale, low cobra or upward dog. As you exhale, downward facing dog. Let the neck release. Let those sit bones stretch up towards the ceiling as you melt the heels back any amount. It could just be a thought. Really trying to find length in that back side of your body. So lengthening through the sides of your waist and your arms. Lengthening through your legs. As you inhale, you're gonna stay in your dog, but just find a little bend in your knees, come to your tippy toes, look where you're going. Options here, you walk your feet forward, step right then left, or maybe you spring a little. See if you can shift the weight into your hands as you do that. It's like you're gonna hike up into a handstand. As you exhale, fold in. Inhale, press down into your feet, stretch arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart, starting to feel some heat as we begin to move into this flow. So inhaling, reaching. As you exhale, fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Keep looking forward. Bend knees, plant palms, spread fingers, left foot back, then right, lower, chaturanga. Did you catch all of that? Inhale, into your back bend, shoulder heads press back, openness across your heart and chest. Exhale, downward dog. Couple of breaths. Noticing how this dog is feeling different as compared to the first one that we did. And then keeping the bend in your knee, or finding a bend in your knees, staying in your dog, coming to your tippy toes, looking where you're going, walk forward, a step left and right, or spring forward, think light ninja thoughts. Inhale, chest lengthens. That's actually really hard to do. As you exhale, fold in. Inhale, press into your feet. Stretch arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Good, so we're gonna step wide on our mat. Edges of the feet parallel with the edges of the mat. We're gonna do a little twisting flow. So if you know that you're a little tighter, this is a great place to have a block as well. And kind of just put it out in front so you're making a triangle with your toes and your block, and we can adjust as we come down. So hands come to hips, elbows squeeze in. Feel the outer edges of your feet squeezing in towards each other. Inhale, lift. As you exhale, start to hinge forward to halfway. We're gonna plant our right hand onto the block. And then let's just start with left hand on hip. So as you inhale, start to spin open to the left. Exhale, lower down, plant that left hand into the block. Inhale, twisting in. Exhale, right hand down. Inhale, turning to the left. Kind of just warming this up. Exhale. And then inhale, twisting up. So this time, if you want to go a little deeper, you are welcome to. So exhaling, right hand presses. Inhale, maybe you stretch that left arm up. Exhale, pressing that left hand into the block. Inhale, revolving in. Let's do a couple more to each side. Inhaling, twisting and reaching. Exhaling, planting down, switching hands. Good. Inhale, up. Exhale, plant the right hand. Inhale, left arm reaches. Exhale, root into that left hand. Inhale, right arm reaches. Good, we're gonna hold this next round. So exhale, press into the right hand. Inhale, lift up, take a couple of breaths here. So you might be just gazing slightly ahead. You might be able to gaze up at that top thumb. Again, find your feet. So toes aren't gripping, but feet are active. They're squeezing in towards each other. Hips are squeezing in towards each other. Good, deep inhale. Exhale, release that side, root down into that left palm. Inhale, open up. So this beautiful twist with active feet, gazing forward or up at that top thumb. That can be intense in the neck. It's a nice little neck stretch and strengthener. Good. One more deep inhale. Exhale, unwind. All right, so we're gonna do a little, a nice little stretch here. So you're gonna turn your right toes out a hair. And then we're gonna come down nice and low. So as you can see, my heel is lifted up off the mat. That's all right. We're gonna start with these left toes pointed up towards the ceiling. So you can try to get kind of low to the floor here. You could think that you're gonna come onto your forearms. Also find if you're on your hands, if you're kind of in between, you could always put your forearms on blocks. And then just because we're in nice and tight like this, just squeeze this knee into your upper right arm, and then maybe squeeze back with that right arm. And then let's go ahead and point these left toes. It's kind of a nice stretch on the top of the foot. I actually am feeling this really nice stretch on the inseam of the leg as well. Good, and then we're gonna make our way to the other side. So you're gonna turn those left toes out a little bit. Melt on in here, you're breathing. Start with those right toes up towards the ceiling. That left heel will be lifting off the mat. If that's really intense, you could slide a block under there just so you have something to rest on or a blanket. So big stretch right here in the inner leg. Go ahead and point those right toes. That's just going to intensify things. You're squeezing this left knee into this outer left arm. Good, and then we're gonna start to make our way out of this. So edges of the feet parallel with the edges of the mat. Let's just forward fold here. So coming on in, couple options. You can just let your fingertips dangle. You can walk your fingertips back in line with your toes. If you wanted to, you could take your middle and index finger, hook them around your big toe. And then inhale, lengthen, so pulling up. And then as you exhale, continue to pull as you bring your head closer to the mat. Really let the back of the neck go. Fire up the legs, feel the outer foot squeeze in to the midline. As you inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Bring your hands to your hips, feel your belly pull in, so elbows squeeze in towards each other. Inhale, press into your feet to rise up. And then you can just heel toe your feet together. Oh, it was a long time having the legs wide like that. So just find your mountain pose, your Tadasana. Take a couple of breaths here. Notice how you're feeling. Good, and then we're gonna come to the top of our mat. As you inhale, arms reach out and up. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. As you exhale, bend your knees, plant your palms, right foot back, then left. On the same exhale, you're lowering through your chaturanga, keeping your core contained. Inhale, low cobra or upward facing dog. As you exhale, downward facing dog. From here, we're gonna come to our tabletop position. So just make sure that you have your shoulders over your wrists, fingers are spreading, they're pressing evenly. And then moving opposite arm and leg again. So little asymmetrical balance pose to challenge us. So keep everything contained. Your belly continues to pull in. As you inhale, right leg, left arm. Those right toes are pointing down. Exhale, release. Gaze stays forward. That helps with balance. Inhale, left leg, right arm. Exhale, release down. Good. Inhale, right leg, left arm. How long can you get? Exhale, release. Inhale, left leg, right arm. Good. Exhale, release down. One more to each side. Inhale, right leg, left arm. Exhale, release. Inhale, left leg, right arm. Exhale, release down. Okay, here we go. Inhale. Right leg, left arm, stretch out, pull your belly button towards your ribs so it's really easy to dunk into the lumbar spine there. We don't want that, we want some support there. Bend your right knee, reach back, find the edge of the foot with your hand, and then start to kick that foot into your hand any amount. You might not be able to get the foot, that's fine. You could always use the strap here. It's a little twist, balance pose. We're asymmetrical. All right, nice and graceful. Stretch back out. Good, and then just because we can, and we love working hard, so you're here like this, take your arm off to the side, and then that right leg off to the side, so you're gonna feel a big grip in the top of that hip. Oh, keep that foot lifted. Inhale, exhale, inhale. Back to center, sigh of relief. Release down, and we come to the second side of that. So as you inhale, left leg, right arm lift. Couple of breaths. So really feel like you're being stretched apart. Find some tractioning in your spine. How long can you get? You hold on to all of that. You start to bend that left knee. Reach back, grab the edge of the foot. And then when you get that foot, you kick it into the hand. You root down into that left hand. You start to spin your left ribs up towards the ceiling. Little back bend. Definitely a balance pose. It's not far to the floor. No biggie if you fall out. Okay, so holding it all together, gracefully, or at least gracefully-ish, extend back out. And then here we go, a couple of breaths, so getting into that. So we take opposites to the side. I've heard this called fire hydrant pose. Use your imagination there. Oh, keep breathing. Feel that grip on the outer left leg. That tells us we're doing something good. Inhale, exhale, release. Quick little child's pose to give the legs a break. So melting your hips back. Stretching arms forward, just resting on your forehead. And we've been here already. We've already done quite a bit of work, so this should be feeling really good in your body. Should feel like you have a little more space. Use this resting pose to shift your breath slower. Stretch it out again. Good. So nice, deep inhale. Open your mouth, full, complete exhale. And then let's inhale, start to roll on up, and we're gonna come to seated on our mats. We're gonna take our legs out wide. So I suggest that you have your ankles resting on your mat, especially if you're on a harder surface. It just feels a little better. You could also be sitting up on a blanket here. If you're really tight in your pelvic girdle area, sitting up on a blanket is nice. It just helps you to get a little more lengthening through the sides of your waist, through your spine. So again, so we've done this standing. We did that little twisting pose, that asymmetrical twisting pose, standing up wide-legged. Let's do that here on the floor. So the key is gonna be to keep your toes pointing up towards the ceiling, to keep rooting down into those sit bones. And you might wanna have a block here, especially if you're tight. So we're gonna do it the same way that we did on the other side. So let's start rooting down into that right palm, left hand on hip. So exhale, press to the block in front of you. Inhale, twist open, or your hand might be on the floor. Exhale, and then inhale, twisting to the right. So it feels a little different. Exhale, inhaling, wrapping right ribs up towards the ceiling. Exhale, rooting down in front of you. Inhaling. Exhale here. Inhaling up, pressing that top shoulder head back. You could actually press both shoulder heads back. Exhale, release to the center. Inhale, twisting up. Good. So exhale, press here. Let's continue to twist like this. Notice how that left sit bone is getting a little light. Anchor down there, put your brain there. If you would like, maybe you start to stretch that top arm up. Trying to wrap those right ribs up towards the ceiling as much as possible. And then let's shift this a little bit. So you have your block. You're gonna take that, move it to the inside of that right leg, coming onto that forearm. So just shifts where you're getting the stretch here. Keep those toes pointing up towards the ceiling. A few of us might try to extend that top arm up and over as we continue to wrap those right ribs up towards the ceiling. If you're a little more flexible here, you could be on your forearm to the inner edge of that right leg. You might be able to get toes here. All good spots to be. Good, deep inhale. Exhale, Let's come back to the other side. So rooting down, twisting up. So you could just keep your right hand on your right hip, just pressing that right shoulder head back. Maybe you take a couple breaths here. Keep those legs really active. So it's much easier to do that when we're standing on them. All right, and then we're gonna take this block to the inner edge of that left foot. It could be a little higher as well. And then finally, as you anchor into your right sit bone, maybe start to extend that top arm up and over. Keep wrapping those opposite ribs up. If you're in nice and tight, if you're a little more flexible, you can hold on to that left foot with both hands to help you get a little twisting action. Keep breathing. Good, inhale up. Ooh, coming to center, just take a breath here. Nice deep inhale. And then we're gonna use our hands to help draw those legs in. Flip back onto your mat, come to your tabletop. Walk your hands forward a couple of inches. Curl your toes under. Downward facing dog. Nice deep inhale through your nose. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go, ha. As you inhale, a little bend in your knees, come to your tippy toes. End of your exhale, step right then left, or lightly spring through. Inhale, chest lengthens. As you exhale, fold in. Inhale, press down into your feet. Stretch arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. So we're gonna come into a nice, I say, there's nothing nice about this pose. Malasana, squat pose. So if you know you're really tight, you're gonna go wider with your feet. Turning the toes out helps. You also might wanna grab a blanket to rest your heels on if you know that you're a little tighter in the ankle. All right, so tailbone is directing down, sternum is reaching up, palms come together at your heart, deep inhale. As you exhale, start to release in. All right, and then you're gonna squeeze those legs into your upper arms. You're gonna squeeze those arms into your legs, this isometric stretch. And then we're gonna do that little twist here. So right hand's gonna come down. Let's just inhale, twist nice and easy. Exhale, left hand plants. Inhale, rolling up. Exhale, release down. Inhaling. Exhale. And then inhale, twist open. And then we're gonna come into the hold on this side. So rooting into that right palm. Inhale, twist up. Maybe extend that top arm up. Maybe bring your gaze up. Exhale, root down into that left palm. Inhale, open up. You could stay here. If you want to extend that top arm up, you are welcome to do so. Good, come back to center, palms together at your heart. Get a little lift through the sides of your waist. And then put the weight in your heels, feel your belly pull in. Oh, try to keep your back nice and flat. Slowly, slowly, slowly press up to standing. Ah, that's hard. Heel toe your feet together. Take a couple breaths in your mountain pose. All right, so from here, we're gonna just do one round of our Surya Namaskara B. So as you inhale, knees bend, arms reach up, Utkatasana. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in, Uttanasana. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward, Ardha Uttanasana. Bend your knees, plant your palms, left foot back, then right. Lower through Chaturanga. If you're cooked, you pull back to downward facing dog. You start to skip these. As we exhale, we pull back, downward dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, step that foot through. Spin into the back edge of your left foot. Make sure that you're on train tracks here. You're not on a balance beam. Rise up, Virabhadrasana 1. Beautiful work. As you exhale, hands come to the mat. Spin onto those left toes, step to downward dog. Take a chaturanga vinyasa. If you have that right leg lifted, make sure that you put those toes down before you come into your back bend. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. As you exhale, step that foot through, spin into the back edge of that right foot. Strong legs carry you up. Virabhadrasana 1, which is in and of itself a little asymmetrical pose. As you exhale, hands come to the mat. Chaturanga Vinyasa if you would like the heat. Otherwise, you're in your downward facing dog. Taking a few breaths there. And then let's do that little twist one more time in our downward facing dog. So walk your hands a little closer to your feet. It hopefully will feel easier this time. Come as close as you need to. Use blocks if you need to. Left hand comes to the outside edge of that right foot, twisting to the right. We've done a lot of this move. Good. As you exhale, release that side. Take an inhale. And then exhale, right hand comes to that outer left leg, wrapping those right ribs up towards the ceiling. Kind of letting that breath slow down. Unwind here. Slowly walk back to your downward facing dog. As you inhale, a little bend in your knees, come to your tippy toes. End of your exhale, bend your knees. Hop through or step left and right. Inhale, lengthen. As you exhale, fold in. Inhaling, knees bend, arms reach up. Utkatasana, chair pose. Weight is in the heels, toes are light. As you exhale, hands come to heart center. Try to keep both hips facing the same direction. Deep inhale, lengthen through the sides of your waist. Exhale, twist your upper body to the right, bringing that left elbow to the outside of that right thigh. Press your palms towards heart center. That's going to give you a little more leverage to open up. If you're in deep and want to split the arms, do so. You could always put your left fingertips on a block to the outside of that right foot. Maybe you bring your gaze up. Good, deep inhale. Exhale back into your Utkatasana. See if you can do this going right into the second side. Exhale, twist, palms press to heart center. Draw that right hip back. It wants to scoot up. Stay here. This is a great place to be. Or split your arms. So right fingertips to the outside of that left foot. Shoulder blades are stacking on top of each other, giving everything a little ring out. Deep inhale. As you exhale, unwind. Start to straighten your legs. Take a nice little forward fold here. And I'm going to give you options as to what you can do. You can just grab opposite elbows. You can bring your hands to the backs of your calves, kind of like a standing Paschimottanasana to help you fold in. If you wanted to give the wrists a little release, you're going to take the back of your hand, it presses into the bottom of the mat, and then you're going to step onto your palms, wiggle your toes, massage out the wrists, and then you're kind of pulling up on those feet as you fold in, so your elbows are going to bend a little bit. Are you gripping your neck? Let it go. Good. As you inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward, release your hands if they're under your feet. And then hands come to your hips with a flat back. Inhale. Rise on up. Okay, so one final little asymmetrical, challenging balance pose. Do grab books or blocks. I think that these are going to make this a little more bearable if you have them. You don't necessarily need them. All right, so we're gonna have a nice mountain pose. Blocks are gonna be in front of you. All right, so let's take feet hips distance apart, really root down into your feet. We're gonna start to hinge forward at our waist. It's almost as though we're gonna kind of approximate a warrior three. So you're making an L shape, back is nice and long, belly is pulling in and up a lot. All right, so you're gonna inhale, pressing evenly into both hands to start to lift that right leg. So we have done this in our tabletop position. I want you to pretend that somebody is pushing down on your hamstring. And as that's happening, you're pressing up on their hand so that that leg is really active. All right, so going for the asymmetrical stretch here, keep rooting into that right palm. Extend your left fingertips forward. It's a little variation of this warrior three. Good, as you exhale, release. So pressing evenly into your feet, lengthening through the sides of your waist, feeling that, feel your belly pull in and up. And then we're gonna inhale, start to lift that left leg. So you're lifting it pretty high. You're spinning both hips down towards the mat so they're even. Imagine that somebody is pressing on that left thigh with their palm pressing down, and then you're pressing up. Root down into your left hand. Keep breathing. Keep your gaze slightly in front of you. And then start to reach those right fingertips forward. Couple more breaths. How long can you get? Imagine that somebody is pulling on your ankle and your wrist. Two somebodies. Exhale. Release down. So let's do this one more side, or one more time each side, and then just add a little bit here. So let's try to lift leg and arm at the same time. So root down into that right palm. Feel your belly pulling it up, shoulder blades are releasing down your back. Inhale. Ooh, that's harder. So totally okay if you fall out, you smile. Okay, so we did this in our tabletop pose. We're gonna start to turn those right toes out, lift from the inseam of the leg, arm comes off to the side, perpendicular with your shoulder. Keep lifting, come back to center. That'll build some heat. Release down. So one more side here. All right, so at the same time, we're gonna lift that left leg and that right arm. So really root down into that right palm. Feel your belly pull in, you're getting that support. Here we go. Inhale, nice and steady. Good, so leg is really active, shoulder blades are releasing down your back, gaze is slightly forward, you're breathing. And then turn those left toes out, lift from the inseam of that leg, take your right arm off to the side. Ooh, big grip on that outer left hip. I'm sorry, you all might feel this tomorrow. This is just a little reminder of yoga and me. Release down. Oh, bend your knees, which is gonna feel amazing. So just take a little squat. You can be up on your toes, kind of stretching out those toes, like so. And then we're gonna come to seated. Okay. So again, sitting on a blanket can be really, really nice here. We're gonna come into a hip opener. We're gonna come into our double pigeon. So crossing your right shin in front of your left shin. If you're a little more flexible, stacking shins on top of each other, flexing this top foot. If you don't love this pose, you come onto your back and take your reclining pigeon. So knees bent, taking that right ankle over your left knee. Same thing, you're flexing the foot. You can press this right hand into that hip a little bit. Consciously shifting your breath here. Slowing it down, letting that inhale get longer, letting that exhale get longer. If you're in pretty deep, you could stack fists on top of each other and then just rest your forehead there. You might be able to get your forehead to a block or to a blanket. If you're reclining on your back, just stay where you're at. The rest of us are gonna find a little twist. So walking hands off to the right, spinning those left ribs towards those right thigh, just for good measure. We've done that a lot today. And then walk back to center. Inhale, roll on up. If you're on your back, you're just switching sides, so left ankle crosses over your right knee. The rest of us are gonna extend legs too straight. Cross with left shin in front, or stack if you wanna go a little deeper. Inhale, stretch arms up. As you exhale, extend forward as you continue to root into your sit bones. Melting in here. Noticing how the side feels different in your body. This should feel really good today. We didn't do tons of hip opening. We did a lot of hip gripping. So this is gonna feel really nice here. Attention sometimes starts to wander when we come into these more static poses and these intense poses at that. Count your breath again if you need to. Back out of the pose a little bit if you need to. Just make it a little bit easier. There's no shame in that. If you're in your reclining pigeon, you're just staying there. The rest of us are gonna find a little twist here. So walking hands off to the left, wrapping right ribs towards that left knee. And then we begin to come back to center. Inhale, roll up. You can just stay on your back if you're there. And we're all gonna come onto our back, giving our knees a little hug into the chest. Or rock a little bit from side to side. And before we come into our Shavasana, let's just release everything out with a nice little twist. So keep knees squeezing in, arms come out wide, palms facing up. As you exhale, drop your knees off to the right. The eyes are probably closed, so you're either pressing into the center of the back of your head or rolling towards that left cheek. Just stretching out the right side of the neck, those scalene muscles. Inhale up to center with your knees. Exhale, drop them off to the left. Pressing to the center of the back of the head or rolling towards that right cheek. Try to really let those shoulder blades melt down into the mat so they're getting nice and heavy. You're moving towards your Shavasana, so you're feeling really calm and relaxed. Here, after working hard, inhale up to center. Good. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out. Ha. And then you're gonna make your way into Shavasana, whatever that might look like for you today. So classic legs a little wider than hips distance apart, allowing your toes to turn out. Maybe snuggle your shoulder blades underneath you so it feels like that bridge pose feeling in your upper chest. If there's tension in your lower back, bend your knees, take your feet wide, and then just allow your knees to knock in towards each other. And then you slow down. You enjoy these final moments of stillness before we go back to the busyness of life. Just knowing that this is gonna make the rest of the day easier. Shavasana. Take a deeper inhale. Let the breath go. Begin to bring some gentle movements back to your body. So wiggling fingers and toes. Might feel good to stretch out. Bringing your awareness back to your body. And staying soft and quiet, you're going to roll onto one side or the other, just finding the fetal position for a moment, helping you to transition out of your Shavasana. So just pausing there. You'll eventually use your hands to help you press up to a comfortable seat. Check in, notice how you feel. So hopefully some things have shifted physically. You found some more space and ease in your body. You found some depth to your breath. And hopefully your headspace is feeling quiet and calm. Perhaps there's even a little joy there. Send yourself love and gratitude for showing up and working hard. Just promise yourself you're going to carry this feeling with you into the rest of the day ahead. Bring your palms in a pile on top of your heart. Bow your head with a smile.